Many people ask me to teach them how to hack. The other day, a follower said to me, "My friend, teach me how to hack. That's not how it works. It's not like I can teach you one command line and suddenly you know how to hack." Sure, in some cases you can type a few commands like in aircrack to take down Wi-Fi, obviously, without needing to understand the concept behind it, right? You can do that. But if you know nothing about tech, don't know what a MAC address is, or even what Wi-Fi means, you'll struggle with the concept. So what do I suggest for beginners who want to learn cybersecurity or people wanting to hack for some advantage or power? Let's say I don't like someone and want to access their phone. I don't know where they are, but I want to access their phone. First, that's not how it works either. Yeah, nowadays it's very difficult to hack. In the past, things had no security. Today they do. Today, integration is much more advanced. In the past, you had a monolithic server where you'd add more physical memory, hard drives, or increase processing power as needed. Today, everything is decentralized with microservices, instances, pods. You have a cache layer up front, a WAF, web application firewall, an API gateway, a load balancer, and this varies by system. So if you want to learn hacking to gain power, thinking you'll hack everything, phones, computers, TVs, that's not realistic. It just doesn't exist. Things have changed. Now there are iPhone specialists, Android specialists, and I'll add there are experts just for iPhone cameras, processors, and wireless components. There are specialists in iPhone processors and memory. So it's not that simple to learn hacking and then just hack everything. It doesn't mean hackers know how to hack everything. That's not how it works. Rarely will you be a hacker who can hack iPhones while also finding flaws in Windows. First, if you discover a Windows flaw today, you could become a millionaire, right? Or at least earn good money through bug bounty, which is the right thing to do when finding vulnerabilities. So get that idea out of your head, thinking that hacking isn't just typing a bunch of commands and destroying everyone. That's not how it works. That's not how it works. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of studying, tons of notes, so many notes that you actually get lost in them. One notebook is no longer enough. When you reach the level where a thick notebook isn't enough, that's when you're starting to understand the concepts. In fact, you're already beginning to reach level 1. Yeah, okay, but how do I start, right? Where do I begin? Is there a book I should read? Is there a path? Like, for example, law school, you start first semester, then second, then third. By fifth year, you're a qualified lawyer. You know everything about law. It doesn't work that way either, right? Actually, you learn from experience beyond college. And in cybersecurity, there's no exact starting point because it depends on where you want to go. What do you want to specialize in? That's the question you have to ask yourself. Want to specialize in Windows? In Linux, do you want to specialize in macOS? You want to and also in Windows, you have thousands of services, or you want to specialize in memory, for example. There are cybersecurity experts who are memory specialists only in a specific architecture. They can't do everything. So get this idea out of your head that a hacker today can do everything. There are thousands of services and integrations, and one person alone can't handle everything. Exceptions are rare, but I'd suggest starting with something other than cybersecurity, like networking, DevOps, or even programming. First, learn how to program something. First, learn network infrastructure architecture, study the RFCs, the IETF request for comments, study the OSI layer, understand how TCP IP, DHCP, UDP protocols work, understand the basics, which is the main thing. Then you'll move on to BGP, understand how a DDNS service works, learn about thousands of ISP architectures like CGNAT, and keep advancing from there. But first understand how a local network works, a LAN, a local area network, which is simply a local network. So learn the most basic concepts first. Now, if you're already a programmer who knows a language or works with one, C, C#, even PHP, Just know some language, Python, Java, it doesn't matter. If you're already a programmer, you should know what TCP is, what IP is, what DHCP and DNS are. If you don't, something's wrong or you're just starting out. But if you're already a programmer or worked in DevOps, which also requires knowing some basic programming, you need these skills. So if you already know this, what you might be missing is taking that more difficult step, breaking out of the bubble of creating classes, polymorphism, object orientation, etc. That stuff is easy. The challenge is leaving that bubble and asking yourself, okay, I program in Java, but how does Java compile this? How does it, is it, you should already know what TCP is, what IP is, what DHCP and DNS are. If you don't know, you're either very wrong or just starting out. But if you're already a programmer or worked in DevOps, you should know at least basic programming in some language. So if you know what you're missing, maybe it's time to take that harder step. Breaking out of the bubble of classes, polymorphism, object orientation, etc. That stuff is easy. But getting out of that bubble means asking, okay, I code in Java, but how does Java actually compile this? How is it compiled? It's a language. How does it work under the hood? When actually I'll talk about Python since I understand it better. When I create JavaScript, when I declare a let in JavaScript, is that variable local or global? How does a web worker function behind the scenes? Why are web workers or service workers faster than iframes, which were used in the past? Just one example. For instance, in the past when posting ads, performance was terrible, so they created intersection observer. So you need to understand these concepts. You need that curiosity to truly understand things. Without that curiosity, understanding will never come. Okay, so I have the TCP protocol. Which layer of the OSI model does it belong to? What's the TCP header structure? What is a header? Why is it important? So studying these basic concepts is essential. Having curiosity is even more essential because when working in cybersecurity, depending on your focus, you'll need to study assembly. If you're a reverse engineer doing reverse engineering, you'll definitely need to study assembly. And those who program in Java and switch to assembly. Java with Spring Boot is super easy. It's like honey, it's so easy. When someone goes to assembly, they go crazy. They're not used to that level of reasoning, that whole new world. So yeah, just to show it's not simple. There's no free lunch. That's the saying we use. But being a hacker isn't just typing commands, it's truly understanding the concept. An airplane pilot doesn't just learn to push buttons. Before that, he studies aeronautical sciences. Before that, he studies wind, geography. He even studies some chemistry at least, right? On planes, there's equipment called a pitot tube, but what's it for, right? Wind hits the pitot tube, and when it's very cold, the tube freezes. I'm just giving an example that pilots don't just learn to press buttons. He learns the concepts behind it, so during a crisis, he knows what to do. So hacking is the same thing. Oh, I want to be a mobile network expert. You'll need to know the equipment types for mobile networks and how the architecture works, GSM technology, CDMA, etc. So don't make the mistake of downloading a VPN thinking you can do shady stuff online without being traced. It's actually very easy to find you behind paid VPNs like Surfshark or NordVPN. They just need to call the company or send an email requesting information about the IP that was misusing their service. So don't make that mistake. Well, that's it. To escape this bubble, you need to study. You have to study. There's no way around it. Reading books is useful, of course, but you must focus on the technical aspects. Understand how applications work at the low level. It's easy to deploy a server to the cloud, but understanding what's underneath, like Apache's HTTP mods and their configurations, is crucial for cybersecurity work, and sometimes that's still not enough for advanced hacking like bug bounty, which pays well but only to those who truly understand low-level concepts.